So first off, the whole night's topic is addiction, but we're only talking about alcohol in this first portion. We're going to talk about all different parts, all different kinds of addiction as the night goes on. But I just wanted to focus on alcohol first because alcohol is one of those things that you can become addicted to that is still not considered to be illegal in almost any place in the world. It's not considered to be a sin by most people, even Christians. And it's generally purchasable anywhere. Most stores that sell any kind of food product sell alcohol. So it is different from all of the other things you might get addicted to in that it is generally considered to be pretty normal. And there's lots of people that use alcohol that do not become addicted to alcohol. So it is a little different than other things that we would typically think like, oh, if you try this once, you'll become addicted. That's not necessarily the case with alcohol. So I just wanted to give you guys that scientific background. What does alcohol do once it's inside your body? Do you guys basically understand what happens inside your body? Now you've seen a little cartoony piece of ethanol floating around inside of a cartoon body. Anyone kind of get it? Okay, so the basics of it are this. Ethanol, the part of alcoholic beverages that is actually alcohol, that part goes to your brain because your liver can't keep up. Your liver sees it, and your liver is like your blood's filter, and it immediately goes, holy cow, that's bad, get that out of here. So your liver is pre-trained, and so far as we know, we've checked genetically as far back as we can go. Every human that's ever existed has had the genes to process alcohol unless they have a weird mutation. It's like the normal population of humans has always been able to recognize alcohol molecules and go, poison, get that out of here. But the weird part is the process of getting it out of your body is slow. And the process of getting it out of your body, it has to convert it first to another kind of poison, and then it converts it into something that's not poison. So it's a two-step process. So as far as we know, hangovers actually come from that middle step. As far as we know, that middle chemical that it makes, which is a little bit similar to like formaldehyde, that's actually what gives you a hangover. So if your body gets like halfway through and then you run out of water, you get stuck in the middle zone, you get too much formaldehyde type chemicals built up inside of you, and that's where that comes from. Eventually, you'll get past it. So here's where this gets interesting. Your body has a ton of water in it. You guys have all heard that, right? You guys have all heard before your body's like X percentage water. Who's heard that before? Who knows how many percent they say your body is? 75? Anyone heard another number? Yeah? Okay, how much percent of your body's water? She's like, I'll just say what he said. Yeah, Caleb. I heard it's 60. You know what? I think it differs person to person because different parts of your body need different amounts of water. But here's the fun fact of fun facts. Alcohol is dissolvable in water. So any part of your body where water goes, alcohol can go. Follow me on this little journey here, James. One of the primary places in your whole body that uses up the most blood and goes through the most blood every minute is your brain. And your blood is mostly water. And so the place in your whole body that gets the most alcohol sent to it is the one thing that's incredibly sensitive to it, your brain. And the more alcohol that goes there, the less your brain can really like do stuff. And so at first, your brain is pretty smart. It lets the parts that matter less die first. It lets the parts that matter less go to sleep first, shut down first. But if you drink enough alcohol more and more and more and more and more quickly enough, eventually the last part of your brain to go, the medulla, it goes to sleep. And at that point, you've died. If there's no other part of your brain awake to wake up the other parts of your brain, it doesn't wake up. So there's one last part of your brain, the medulla, that's the last thing alive. That's your reflex center. It's just the basic, like I tap your knee moves. You don't have to think about that, right? You don't have to actively decide to move your leg when the doctor hits your knee. It's automatic. That's the last part of your brain to stay awake if you've drunk too much alcohol. But once that part goes to sleep, that's it. Your heart won't keep beating, your lungs won't keep breathing, and you just die. So alcohol is totally safe under certain conditions at certain amounts, and it's totally deadly under other conditions and at other amounts. And the reason I gave you all that science is because the amount is not something I can measure out for you in a cup and say that's the safe amount and then put in one more drop and go, oh, that's the deadly amount. It's not like that. It's way more complicated, and that's why I gave you any science at all. It has to do with how much water is in your body. And that's different for every single one of you. So if you don't know that, then you don't know how much alcohol your body can safely consume. This is why we don't let kids drink alcohol. There's a few reasons, but that's one of them, is that they're growing. And so the amount of alcohol their body could safely process before there's really bad side effects is practically unknowable. It could be different today than it is tomorrow. You could literally grow enough to change how much you could drink. No, you're very small. You would be the opposite of immune. The smaller you are, the less immune you are, generally speaking. No. So there's a few things that can play into immunity. Some people claim like, no, I can't get drunk, I'm immune. Some people actually say that. And there is something about the human body that actually is true in that regard. You can actually beef up your liver, get your liver really used to this process. Like, well, another Friday, and your liver limbers up and it gets ready for the onslaught. And then it starts beating back the alcohol and turning it into safer things. So you can grow your liver in that way. But the problem is you can't do that for a long period of time. Your liver actually starts to die. You get liver disease. Parts of your liver become completely non-functional. They just sit there and can do nothing. And then you're stuck with a total dead liver. And then it's the opposite. Suddenly, instead of being like immune, you are weak to alcohol. Yeah. What's up, Krista? 2. Sure. Yeah. You don't have come yeah. Shh. How would you do that? Do you mean love her like buy all her music and support her monetarily? Because I don't think that's really what we were talking about. So this is a complicated issue for anyone you don't actually have contact with. You could pick any person on the planet, whether they're nice and you like them or they're bad and you hate them. It doesn't matter. If you never spend any time with them, what would you be able to do for them that's loving? And the only answer I can think of is pray for them. I don't know what else you could do for them. No, clearly, yeah. No, I mean love in the general sense. Do what is best for them. So in the case of anyone you don't spend time with, anyone you don't have contact with, the answer is pray for them every time. It doesn't change whether it's a president or a music star or an NBA, player. It doesn't matter. If you don't actually have contact with them, the most you can do is pray for them. Once you have contact with them, then there's a lot of options on the table. So if you ever met someone who was famous and you're like, then there's all kinds of things you could do. You could tell them the gospel. You could share the love of Christ with them. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. But until that day comes, there's not a lot you could do. Okay. Back to addiction for a second. Yeah, Elise. Yeah, if you guys are still hungry and you'd like to go get food, just signal to Elise or Hannah. They'll let you guys go one at a time. Otherwise, just wait. If there's someone getting food, just wait. Okay, so alcohol. Oh, yeah, you got one? Ooh, kind of the same answer. How would you do it, though? Does that make sense? What is best for the devil that you could help with? Does that make sense? What is something that would help him become more Christ-like? What would help him see the truth? Does that make sense? So it's not that you're not supposed to. It's really a bigger problem is how in the world would you do it? That's the bigger problem. I could easily say yes. If it were possible to show love to the devil, then yes, do it. But the bigger problem is how do you do that? Someone who has decided they're going to be an enemy of your soul. They would like to see you in hell. That's hard. Now, I don't know how close to a one-on-one conversation you'll ever get with the devil. I kind of hope you don't. But at the same time, if that ever happened, yeah, the examples we have in the Bible, they just preached scripture to him. They just told him the truth. And I think that's kind of the same answer as for I know it's hypothetical and it'll never happen. Like if you met Hitler, right? You meet some person that we just like know it has been evil historically. They've been terrible to everyone. What would you do? Well, you show them love. You teach them spiritual truth. You show them that you care about their soul, their eternity. And they might not listen, and that's okay. That's not really your fault if they don't listen. But you could try. Of course, you're never going to meet Hitler. He already died. But like, I think that applies to anyone else. You could fill in the blank with anyone who's slightly or crazy evil. You could show them love. It doesn't mean you're going to become their best friend and spend all your time with them every day. Like, that's unlikely to happen. But you could still show them love. Yeah, Abby. You did have your hand up, I promise. You could try and put that context on it for sure. You could. It's not in the verse necessarily, but the context of the greater passage, you could say it applies to only humans. I do think, though, that demons and the devil are not necessarily counted out automatically just because of the way that the angels treat the demons and the way that other people who weren't Jesus treated the demons. They didn't treat them nicely, like, oh, how's it going? Nice to see you. Oh, hey. They treated them with respect. Like, you have a higher position than me, and you've squandered it, like you've wasted it, but you do have a higher position than me. Like, you've been given rank, you've been given power in the first place. And so they respected them, even if they didn't respect what they're doing, what they have done, what their whole life is about now. Like, they also didn't just like spit on them. Does that make sense? Like, they weren't that way. They loathed what they were doing, though. And that's, I think, the same even with humans that sin. We can absolutely be disgusted at the sin someone's committing. We can still try and show them love. It's just harder. Doesn't mean it's any less a call on our life. Okay, so back to addiction, back to alcohol. Alcohol is not always addictive to all people. Lots of people have alcohol once in a while and they do not get addicted. Likewise, the Bible doesn't say drinking alcohol is a sin. It says, and get this straight, drunkenness is a sin. Now, what is the difference between having a drink of alcohol and being drunk? Yes. Yes. Okay. Intention plays hugely into this. And then there's one other thing about drunkenness that we need to know. Drunkenness changes your brain's ability to make decisions at a chemical level. It is something you can't fight once you're there. And that's the real problem. Once your brain has parts of it turned off, you will act differently and you can't stop yourself anymore. But if you decide before you get drunk to stop drinking, you can stop yourself. And so this is a real big problem for God. He hates it when we make bad decisions because they hurt us, they hurt the people around us. But there's a bigger deal. Usually, you're the one making them. And so there is a range of things that you are willing to do. There's a range of things that you're comfortable with. There's a range of things that you would feel good about. And then there's things where you do them and then you realize afterwards, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And you learn from it. You totally learn from it. What happens if your memories are turned off temporarily? Your self-checker, am I doing good stuff? That gets turned off temporarily. Your ability to feel sad might get turned off depending on your physiology, and now you just feel happy about everything. So like, you don't even know what bad decisions are. You feel happy about everything, and you have poor memory. Now you have unlocked this new tier of stupidity where you can basically do the dumbest stuff you've ever done, feel happy about it, and later, you don't even remember it happened. And basically, God just looks at that whole situation and says, no. Just no. Don't ever do that. Because you're inviting sin. You're inviting bad things into your life when you say, I don't want memories, I don't want self-control, I don't want to feel happy about all of it. You are asking for bad things. So he says, if you're walking into drunkenness, you are walking into sin. simple. Now, the problem is the limit is different for everyone. If you were going to get out like your scientific calculators and take everyone's blood alcohol level and say, okay, how many drinks did you have? Here's your alcohol level. How many drinks do you have? Here's your alcohol level. You would be able to find out that it doesn't correlate evenly. It's not 1 drink equals this drunk, 2 drinks equals this drunk, 3 drinks equals that drunk. It's not that way. It matters who you are, how old you are. It matters if you've ever drunk before or never drunk before. It matters how much food you ate, when, and what kind. It's maddeningly complex. And so if you were going to actually decide, okay, I found, hey, Gavin, James, hands to yourselves, thanks. If you were going to actually try and decide, like, here is my line. I am allowed exactly this much alcohol. 14.3 ounces. That's what I'm allowed to drink because I know if I drink 14.4, I'll be drunk. It's not true. That's not true. It's different for every person. It is different based on the night and what you ate and all of it. So the real truth is just drink less. Don't push yourself up to where the line might be to even find the line. Go backwards from where the line even is. Okay, questions. Gavin. Okay, we'll see how related it is. Go for it. Oh no. Okay, Krista, you got it? Let me know if it comes back to you, Gavin.
Oh yeah, wait, I remember.
Okay.
Question is
Not that long. This one's only gonna last another minute or two. Yes. Sure. Because fermentation does not happen quickly or accidentally. Like wine isn't alcoholic because you made it from grapes. Wine is alcoholic because you let bacteria munch on the sugars for a while. So if you just juice a grape, you don't get wine, you get grape juice. You store the grape juice in a barrel, you let just enough of the right kind of bacteria in there on purpose, like not too much and not the wrong kind. And over time, they munch through the sugars and they excrete alcohol into that grape juice and it turns into wine. And it's kind of the same with all the others, same with beer. Beer is basically like the juice of grains, which is kind of a weird thought, and hops, which is just another leafy little plant. It's not alcoholic the day you make it, right? It's just grain water the day you make it. You have to let it ferment. You have to let bacteria basically very carefully and precisely and like cleanly rot. It has to rot in the most perfectly scientific way. And then you've got beer. Then the alcohols come out of the sugars and you've got something with alcohol in it. These fruits, these grains, these things we make alcoholic beverages out of do not contain alcohol at all. Does that make sense? They just contain carbohydrates. And there happens to be bacteria in the world that can turn a carbohydrate into alcohol. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, so like all those ingredients, if you just ate them raw, no alcohol, nothing, totally fine. You can never get drunk off of grapes. It doesn't work. Well, maybe old rotten grapes. Maybe some really squishy grapes. But yeah, I know. Then there's raisins, which is different. That's drying from the sun, not just being left out to get bacterial. So you can actually, recently, because I don't drink. I don't know if you guys know that. I just decided a long time ago not to drink ever, and I've kept it up. Just a decision I made. I heard my youth pastor when I was a kid. He said, I can't let myself get into certain things because I'm a habit-forming person. And if I let myself into things that could hurt me with large quantities, I know I won't stop at small quantities. And I heard him say that and went, oh, crud. I'm a habit-forming person. And so I just decided I'm just never going to try alcohol, never going to even try it, because I know I'm the kind of person who's like, oh, that's kind of good. And then I would just have it every day, all day long. It was like this with me and Mountain Dew when I quit soda drinking. I dropped 60 pounds within a few months because Mountain Dew was good. Therefore, I should have a 24-pack at my house and a 24-pack at work and a 24-pack in my car so I never run out of Mountain Dew. And then, I mean, you could just not drink water, right? You could just drink Mountain Dew at all times, every day, at every meal, at every snack, whenever you were thirsty. Just live off Mountain Dew. And the answer to that is yes, you can. And it's terrible for you. It is so bad for your health. But if I could do that with Mountain Dew, I'm pretty sure I could do that with alcohol. So I've just never touched the stuff. However, just the other day, we're at a family meal, and one of my family brought some fruit from Costco, and it's like the pre-cut fruit container from Costco. It's got like the honeydew and the cantaloupe and the pineapple and stuff. And I pop a piece of cantaloupe in my mouth, and I start chewing it. Did they pre-soak this in champagne? What's going on here? And the melon had just gone bad in the container. So like I did get some alcohol in my mouth. Didn't mean to, but like it was sparkly and it tasted like it was going towards vinegar. It was not a cantaloupe flavor. That was something else. So I think I drank some cantaloupe wine the other day by accident. It was not my intention, but like it also wasn't very good. I wouldn't recommend it. Yes. Right. As I mentioned, intention is a huge part of this. Someone slipping you alcohol is not your fault. Don't ever feel guilty for that. Yeah. No, we're not. All right, guys. So what is addiction? What separates drinking alcohol, being drunk, which we already decided drinking alcohol, not a sin, being drunk, yes, a sin. Third category, addiction to alcohol. What would that look like? What's different about that? Addiction to alcohol. Caitlin? Hey, James, you can stop doing that now. Thanks. You have a hard time stopping. Oh, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, hard time stopping even when you're not drunk. That's a good way of putting it. Charlie. I asked Charlie. Don't anybody cut in. Shh. Go ahead, Charlie. Sure. Yeah. You don't want to starve. Interesting. So it's almost like this thing that has no feelings, this alcohol that just, amoebously exists at every store and every restaurant, in your fridge, wherever. It's like you owe it something. Like the fish, if you starve the fish, you feel bad. You've done something wrong. Not drinking, like you've kind of left your poor alcohol alone. You feel like a draw to go drink it. That's interesting. It's a nice way of putting it. It's different than how I think about it. Yeah, Judah. No, don't do that. You will kill the fish so fast. So stinking fast. They won't stand a chance. We use alcohol not in the drinky sense, but like we use the chemical to like preserve things and make things be so dead that even bacteria don't exist in it. So like if we want to take like a sample of something from the bottom of the ocean and like put it in a lab to study for months, you would float it in alcohol. Like it so kills stuff. Yeah, so don't do that. Don't do that to your poor fish. Yeah. Okay. Well, now hold on a second. Do you want to label everyone as stupid even if you don't know how they got there? Okay. Oh, okay. I kind of get what you're saying now. So like you've used alcohol to the point where you've become stupid. Like it's the thing making you stupid. Okay. I think you're giving a great definition of drunkenness, but we're talking about now addiction. What separates that from addiction, which is I think a step beyond drunkenness. Drunkenness could happen one time and you could still never get addicted. It could happen once a year and you could still never be addicted. You could be just making a once in a while bad decision. A stupid decision, I think you're right, but like it doesn't necessarily match addiction. Judah, that's like the worst sneak attack of all. Like you've outdone yourself in the wrong way. All right, Daniel. You always want more of it. Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a good way of putting it because there are things that are good that we can be addicted to. Yeah, you could get addicted to running, an actual form of exercise. And then you still want to go back to it. And you would have to debate with someone really like, hash out the details of how good or bad that was in your life. Some really good things are not all negative when you get addicted to them if they're really truly good things. But that's a deeper question. Yeah, Abby. Yes. Yep. Those were slightly mentioned in the cartoon, like 2 words. They slipped that in there towards the end when they showed him like staying up late on his computer, unable to sleep. They just kind of slipped that little bit in there. But yeah, there's a chemical change in your brain whereby you don't feel motivated to do things unless you've taken in alcohol. And then your motivation chemicals start to work again. And as long as you're sober, the motivation chemicals stop working. So when you've got drunk over and over and over again, you start to alter the way your brain works. And it starts to really push you back towards the alcohol. When this change sets in, we would call it an addiction because now you have this thing that's there when you're not drinking that's pulling you back to drinking. And there's more than one kind. There's more than just chemical. There's other kinds of addictions we'll get to. Yeah, Jeremiah. Compulsive. Yeah, it's interesting. I found out one of the things they'll do for a heroin addict when they come into the hospital and they've like crashed and they've overdosed or whatever, they'll actually give them heroin. Weird, right? But it is medical heroin. It's not like they went and found a drug dealer. Quick, we need your supply. There's a man dying in a hospital. They have actual medical grade, perfectly processed heroin. But the reason is because the body doesn't know how to function without it at that point. They need to keep some in their body so that they live long enough to fix all the things that have gone wrong. And if they don't give them some right there, their body just shuts off and they die. So they actually keep them on the drug just a little bit longer until they can start to help them enough, and then they can get them off of it. Some of them, not every one of the pills, but yeah. And again, it's properly dosed. You're monitored by your doctor. You're getting it through prescription. You can't just have as much as you want. So there's controlled versions of a lot of these things that have great uses. We use alcohol as rubbing alcohol. It's the same ethyl-based stuff, and we use it for all kinds of medical procedures. All right, yeah, Caleb, what is addiction? We're going to spend the next break of study entirely on that. So I'm not going to answer you in depth right now, but that is the golden question. How does it start? What takes you from I had a drink, I got drunk once, to I'm addicted to alcohol? That is the golden question. So you guys can think about that. I'll try and answer it in a bit when we come back to study. A couple more questions. We'll pause, do a game, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about just that. Yeah, Gavin.
I'd
Okay.
like to tell you a story about
Let's not actually. We're gonna
Don't worry, it's not a bad
Gavin. We're not gonna share stories at this point in the big group. If you want to share a story with a leader, totally fine, but not in the big group. I don't want to accidentally have something shared that really shouldn't be. So like once we've heard it, that's fine. But otherwise, just hold it.
It's okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna pause here. We're gonna play a game. You guys ready? All right, ladies and gents, I need your opinions. I need your opinions. You got me. I got a red eyelid. Nope, you didn't get me. No.
Instead of a Shakespearean skull, should we hold a pen? Sticking a pile on? Is that...
No. One at a time. One at a time. Give him back his extras. He can get one for that. Just give him back his extras. Yeah. It is in the list of rules, Aiden. Oh, you dropped one. Aiden, it's in the list of rules. If you didn't read the rules, it's your fault.
I had a stack of like 9 eyeballs and someone flicked them away and now I can't find them.
What are you, Gavin? You're not even in the game. Kudos.
I have a question.
Yes. Hey, Judah, that is not your chair. Please do not misuse it. Either use it properly or put it away. Sorry.
Instead of holding a Shakespearean skull, shall we hold a pen?
For what? Oh, to ink or not to ink. Yes, basically. All right, guys, we're going to play a game called To Ink or Not to Ink. I need some opinions on some tattoo ideas I've been having lately. You guys ever looked around on the internet for cool tattoos just to see, like, one day I'll get one of those?
Hey, dude, what's on your back?
Gavin, you're not even in the contest.
Get John 3:16.
Can I even reach it? I don't even know where it is.
Wrong area.
Well, you got to help me out. I can't see it. It's on my back. Very
I
nice.
got you.
All right.
With my
Hey,
eyelid.
can I be part of the contest?
It is too late. I'm sorry. I only got 12 kits together. We used up all 12.
By the way, I just behind you.
I got you
Oh,
too.
okay. Pull it off.
Can we keep
you.
our shoes off
Okay, let me
for
have
the
'em.
game?
Thank you.
I'm gonna walk in a minute to go home.
Hannah. You're Hannah. No, who's Hannah?
Amy.
Oh, it was Phil. Got it.
Daniel, you have something on
Are
your
you okay?
shoulder. Daniel, you have something on your shoulder.
Oh my gosh, this is absurd. Okay, I got it. I'll turn them in. I don't know. I think I got them all off. All right, guys, the game is simple. I'm going to put up 2 tattoos. They're both horrible. And I would like you to decide which one is more horrible by walking to that side of the screen. We're going to see what you do when you see these bad tattoos. Here we go. Bad tattoo number 1. Here we go. 2 options. Put away childish things away. Believe in yourself and never lose hope.
Oh, no.
You got to actually like check your reading and see if it really says what you think it says. What do you guys think? Away childish things away, or never, or just believe in yourself.
Shoulder.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I felt that one.
There's
Wait, he
That
just
one.
took my googly eye off.
That's cheating.
Daniel just took mine off.
What's that
The
one?
yellow one is mine. Wherever the yellow one is.
Still there.
Yeah.
Left it on.
We got
Well,
you.
But
then
which one was
he
right
took
here?
it off. I don't know.
No, we
That one you
got
lost.
you.
Mine was up
Okay,
there.
good.
Giving that
Daniel.
I don't know.
All right. All right, guys. Next tattoo. Is it gonna be Darth Vader or Star Wars? No, you can't bring it to me and say I got you. You can't bring it to me and say I got you.
Daniel, you're Daniel.
Change how you play. I felt that one. I felt that one. Take them off. Take them off. I felt both those.
Not
Thank
this
you.
one, though.
Take that other one off.
I put this one on your shoulder.
Yeah,
a
take
while
that one
ago.
off.
Here.
Thank you. I felt them both. You can just throw them on the ground.
Take this.
Which one's
This
better?
is on your shoulder.
You can't do that.
No, it was
You
literally.
have to wait for me to try and grab it. You can't just bring me an eye and say I got you. I have a handful of ones that actually snuck on there.
Do we go to the one that's better?
Yeah, go to the one that's worse. Go to the one that's way, way worse.
Did mine count? Because you wouldn't have noticed. It was literally like right here.
I have all the ones that counted.
I got you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next up.
Daniel. Okay, but can you?
You can't keep following me around and spinning in circles
Okay, but
around
can
me
you at
and
least
claim
grab
that
it?
you're getting me. I'm feeling all these. I'm trying to.
You're
leave
not.
it.
You did not
You
feel.
gotta pick another leader, man.
I
Go back and forth.
dropped it on your shoulder. There's no way you felt it.
Okay, but I know where you are. I'm watching your arms come up.
That makes
I don't have to feel it. I just have to watch you put it on me to know you put it on me. Okay. Too cool for school. All right, next up. Is it Batman or Spider-Man? I put all mine in the bag.
Do you have any for the trash?
I've been giving them back.
Oh, I've been throwing them all away.
That's fine too. That one's trash. Yeah, that one's trash. Okay, next up. Cat or bat? Heck. You guys are terrible at this.
They both suck.
You can't just stand right behind me constantly and think that I don't know where you're putting it there. All right, next up. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Back of the head. Oh, it's great. Frumpy, grumpy eagle man. Yes, Aiden, I know you're back there. What? What? No, me? I wasn't back here. You can't put it on me after I say that I see you. All right, guys, what's worse? These are both the same singer.
And he's trying to put something on your back.
Oh, that's a good one right there. That one made it.
Oh, wait, that doesn't count because she wasn't like signed up. She just found
Try and get a kid. Those are more fun.
Hey, guess what?
Get one of the ones that's playing.
I got you.
Okay, where'd you get me?
Hey Daniel,
Oh,
can
yeah,
people back away from the screen? Like,
Yeah, guys, why don't you guys go back to where the chairs are? Why don't you guys go back to where the chairs are? You don't have to sit down just yet. You can stretch your legs. Just back up because no one can see the screen besides the person who's in front. Yeah.
I got your shoe.
Very nice.
And the one. Let's go.
Yeah, it's Freddie Mercury. Good job. I wasn't sure they would know who that was. Oh my gosh. It's either Freddie Mercury or it's the monster that ate Freddie Mercury. Hey, Caden, come away from the computer. Oh, I see. I see. All right. Next up, which one's worse? Regret nothing or thunder only happens when it's raining. Raisin. You guys got to stop putting them on my shoes. I'm starting to feel them. No, I felt all these ones.
No, you didn't feel
I did.
It's
Both
on your heel. How
both
is it?
shoes. Both shoes. Because you shoved into the shoe. The one on my right shoulder blade doesn't count either. I don't know who that one was. I totally felt that one. Yeah. Okay, the green ones don't count if you guys want to collect those. I felt that one.
Okay, yeah, but you didn't feel this one.
That's
I
true. I
got
didn't.
you.
I didn't.
I got you.
No, I felt it. Wait, it fell. Grab it.
I got you with this one.
Okay. Let me have it. Okay. Definitely felt that one, like a lot. All right, next up. Okay. Yeah, Charlie, are you even trying? I'm not sure. Tiger or Tiger? You did. You did. You got me. And the other one too? Can I have the other one?
Daniel, your shoe, you seem to have.
Yes, that one counts. That one does not count, Judah. It doesn't even. Okay, I heard that. I felt that one.
10 minutes.
Huh?
Make the announcement that you're not googly-eyeable for the next
Okay,
10 minutes.
you're right behind me, Charlie. I know you're back there.
They're wasting their googly eye.
Okay, it's good.
Daniel,
All right, guys, out from behind the screen. Please don't go behind the screen. Thank you. Next up, clearly I have made some bad decisions or never don't give up. Okay, I felt this one.
I got one on your
You have
shoe.
some stuff on your shoe. Here, let me get them.
Daniel, this one was the one on your shoe.
I don't know, guys. Clearly I have made some bad decisions.
That was not on your shoe.
Yes, it was.
No,
I
it
literally
was
just
not.
pulled it out.
You can't till I see it. Sit, wait, I felt that one. Moses, get this. Get this. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. That's it. It's time to find a seat.
I got you again.
Where? It's good. It was the hangy part of the shirt. It was very clever. All right, guys, time to find a seat. Hannah, I got some googly eyes for you.
I got you on your back.
Really? Just now? Just now?
Daniel, can I get the one?
Oh my gosh. You can. Thank you. All right, guys, find your seats. Find your seats.
Daniel, we go way back. He wasn't much of a talker. We took different directions. Obviously.
No, but it's not yours to put spit on. It's mine to put spit on. Yes, Jeremiah. Yes. How did I not hear this? Uh-oh. I'm going to call them back and see what they needed. Hey, Jeremiah. Might need to run downstairs. I don't know yet. Elise, could you close this PowerPoint and get the other one back up? False alarm, Jeremiah. That was someone trying to let Anna in. That was a little while ago. Okay. You got it, Elise? It's the same slideshow for everything. It's just called Addiction. Sweet. All right, guys, find a seat. Find a seat. We are going to watch a quick video to kick off the second conversation. Here we go.
In 1970, marijuana was classified as a Schedule I drug in the United States, the strictest designation possible, meaning it was completely illegal and had no recognized medical uses. For decades, this view persisted and set back research on the drug's mechanisms and effects. Today, marijuana's therapeutic benefits are widely acknowledged, and some nations have legalized medical use or are moving in that direction. But a growing recognition for marijuana's medical value doesn't answer the question, is recreational marijuana use bad for your brain? Marijuana acts on the body's cannabinoid system, which has receptors all over the brain and body. Molecules native to the body, called endocannabinoids, also act on these receptors. We don't totally understand the cannabinoid system, but it has one feature that provides a big clue to its function. Most neurotransmitters travel from one neuron to the next through a synapse to propagate a message. But endocannabinoids travel in the opposite direction. When a message passes from the one neuron to the next, the receiving neuron releases endocannabinoids. Those endocannabinoids travel backward to influence the sending neuron, essentially giving it feedback from the receiving neuron. This leads scientists to believe that the endocannabinoid system serves primarily to modulate other kinds of signals, amplifying some and diminishing others. Feedback from endocannabinoids slows down rates of neural signaling. That doesn't necessarily mean it slows down behavior or perception, though. For example, slowing down a signal that inhibits smell could actually make smells more intense. Marijuana contains two main active compounds, tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, and cannabidiol, or CBD. THC is thought to be primarily responsible for marijuana's psychoactive effects on behavior, cognition, and perception, while CBD is responsible for the non-psychoactive effects. Like endocannabinoids, THC slows down signaling by binding to cannabinoid receptors. But it binds to receptors all over this sprawling, diffuse system at once, whereas endocannabinoids are released in a specific place in response to a specific stimulus. This widespread activity, coupled with the fact that the cannabinoid system indirectly affects many other systems, means that each person's particular brain chemistry, genetics, and previous life experience largely determine how they experience the drug. That's true much more so with marijuana than with other drugs that produce their effects through one or a few specific pathways. So the harmful effects, if any, vary considerably from person to person. And while we don't know exactly how marijuana produces specific harmful effects, there are clear risk factors that can increase people's likelihood of experiencing them. The clearest risk factor is age. In people younger than 25, cannabinoid receptors are more concentrated in the white matter than in people over 25. The white matter is involved in communication, learning, memory, and emotions. Frequent marijuana use can disrupt the development of white matter tracts and also affect the brain's ability to grow new connections. This may damage long-term learning ability and problem solving. For now, it's unclear how severe this damage can be or whether it's reversible. And even among young people, the risk is higher the younger someone is, much higher for a 15-year-old than a 22-year-old, for instance. Marijuana can also cause hallucinations or paranoid delusions. Known as marijuana-induced psychosis, these symptoms usually subside when a person stops using marijuana. But in rare cases, psychosis doesn't subside, instead unmasking a persistent psychotic disorder. A family history of psychotic disorders, like schizophrenia, is the clearest, though not the only, risk factor for this effect. Marijuana-induced psychosis is also more common among young adults, though it's worth noting that psychotic disorders usually surface in this age range anyway. What's unclear in these cases is whether the psychotic disorder would have appeared without marijuana use, whether marijuana use triggers it early, is a catalyst for a tipping point that wouldn't have been crossed otherwise, or whether the reaction to marijuana is merely an indication of an underlying disorder. In all likelihood, marijuana's role varies from person to person. At any age, as with many other drugs, the brain and body become less sensitive to marijuana after repeated uses, meaning it takes more to achieve the same effects. Fortunately, unlike many other drugs, there's no risk of fatal overdose from marijuana, and even heavy use doesn't lead to debilitating or life-threatening withdrawal symptoms if use stops. There are more subtle forms of marijuana withdrawal, though, including sleep disturbances, irritability, and depressed mood, which pass within a few weeks of stopping use. So, is marijuana bad for your brain? It depends who you are. But while some risk factors are easy to identify, others aren't well understood, which means there's still some possibility of experiencing negative effects, even if you don't have any of the known risk factors.
That is how it's spelled. It is literally the right way to spell it. Okay, so real quick takeaways from all this. The video talks very honestly about the fact that there are low side effects for some people and large side effects for other people. But one of the things it mentioned, I want to make sure you guys never forget, is that the side effect spectrum is correlated heavily with age. Meaning the younger you are, the more it affects you in negative ways. Especially those under 25. Under 25, you can have lifelong consequences from smoking marijuana regularly. One of the things that changes when you start smoking marijuana is certain parts of the brain fall out of use. Just while you're high, just while you're smoking. However, repeated use signals to the brain, I don't use those bits. It's the same way that someone who wants to be, using their brains to do high-level math in their profession later in life should practice now because their brain will get good at it. But it works in the other way too. If you start using a drug now that doesn't let your memory centers work properly, doesn't let your emotional processing work properly, doesn't let you tackle new tasks and learn new things properly, your brain starts to think, I guess we don't use those. And it stops growing them. It stops putting resources into them, nutrients into them, and those parts of your brain stay permanently not so good, small, while the rest of your brain progresses. That's bad. Growing up and not being able to process emotions, that's bad. Growing up and not being able to remember things, that's generally bad. I can say that one with confidence. I have terrible memory. I forget things all the time. And I wish I could go back in time and fix something that would make that go away, but I never did smoke marijuana, so I don't even know why I have memory problems. I'm sure if I did smoke marijuana, I'd have really, really bad memory You get it. Okay, so what? I was talking about. Nope, that's certainly not from bad practice. Certainly. All right, so question for you guys. How does drinking a glass of alcoholic beverage, how does smoking one joint of marijuana, how does that go from one time to an addiction? That was Caleb's question before. What transforms a one-time use person who's like, I tried it once, didn't like it, into I'm addicted? I'm addicted. Yes, Anna. Yeah, not the chemical that came first, right? Not the cannabinoids, not the alcohol, but the thing that it does in your brain. This is the classical understanding. However, we're starting to find out that's not the whole story. That is the classic understanding of addiction. However, there's a really good example of that not being true by itself. There's a secondary fact, or else it's not true. Here's the test case. Okay, so has anyone here ever learned about the Vietnam War? Anyone ever learned about Vietnam War? Okay. Vietnam War is a war that happened a while back, started in the 70s, and lots of our soldiers went over to Vietnam. Lots and lots of American soldiers went over to Vietnam. And a ton of them started trying out drugs while they were there in Vietnam. So many of them, in fact, that it was closing in on 50% were trying drugs while they were over there in Vietnam. It was getting close to that number. So when they came back from Vietnam, there was a real fear, like, oh my gosh, we're going to bring back over 100,000 drug addicts all at once into our country. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. We're going to have people living on the streets. We're going to have jobless, claims through the roof. It's going to be horrendous. And they all came back, and some of them kept using drugs. Like, not even 50% of the 100,000 that were using them over in Vietnam. So like less than half kept on using drugs. This was kind of weird. So the doctors at the VA started wondering, what gives? Like, this is strange. Why wouldn't these people who've been using it for months and months, again and again, not be addicted when they got home? Why would their addiction magically disappear? That doesn't make any sense. So he kept on looking into it, and they started to find some correlating factors. They started to find some things that were the same for all the people who stayed addicted and different for all the people who didn't. They found predictors for addiction, and their theory, and it's been borne out over time, is that it's not just a predictor, it's the cause. And so they think they found the cause of addictions. The cause of addictions. Now, some people are definitely predisposed. They have a chemically different brain from the rest of us. They are in an environment where the drugs are all around them and they're easy to get a hold of. There's all kinds of things that would make you an easy target for addiction, but the number one cause isn't the addictive substances that we think of as the things you get addicted to. Yeah, James. Shh. Hey, Faith, that's Elise asking you to stop. Please don't yank away from her. Thank you. Sure, could be, but that's not what they found when they studied it, but it was a good guess. Good guess. Anybody else have a question? You guys want to hear what the real cause of addiction turns out to be? No, that's not in every drug. It's only in certain ones. Vapes and cigarettes. Okay, guys, here it is. The real cause of addiction. Shh. It's the lack of bonds with other humans. Now, you could live with other humans and not form good, strong bonds with them. You could go to school with other humans and you could not form good, strong bonds with them. You could go to work with humans and not form good, strong bonds with them. And if you don't have those good, strong bonds, then suddenly your brain is missing out on all the normal ways. Hey, Faith. Shh. Thanks. Your brain is missing out on all the normal ways to produce the chemicals that make you feel whole, that make you feel like a person, that make you feel like you're alive. You don't have not just dopamine, all kinds of them, oxytocin, all those. You don't get those in your daily life. Then when you try a drug, your brain is getting something it doesn't normally have, which is different from a human who has good, strong, healthy bonds. They're getting those chemicals in their brain the normal way, the good way, the right way. When they try a drug, their brain goes, oh yeah, here's some more of those. I already get those every day. What do I care? That's not any different from my everyday. I always have dopamine in my life. I always have oxytocin in my life. I'm fine. But when a person who has no good, strong bonds isn't getting those chemicals on a regular basis, the normal way, the right way, and suddenly they try a drug, they drink alcohol, they do something that produces those, their brain goes, oh, that's what air is like. I can breathe again. Oh, wow. There's a difference. And so when those soldiers came home from Vietnam, some of them went into families they were dying to get back to, and they plugged right back in. And they were accepted back into life, and life went back to normal. And the drugs they'd used over in Vietnam were like, why would I want that? It's just going to cost me a bunch of money I don't have. But then other soldiers came home, and other soldiers came home to an empty house. Other soldiers came home and lived on the street. Other soldiers came home, and their family was there, but they never really had a strong bond with their family. So they were living with their family again, but they didn't have the relationships they needed. And so they had the drugs, and the drugs were giving them those chemicals. They just kept on using them. This also bears out in the things we've found can help recover someone from addiction. There's a lot of things that can help you recover from addiction. Alcohol's been well studied. Other drugs have been well studied. And generally speaking, therapy helps, but really certain kinds of therapy. And there are even drugs that can help. There are certain kinds of drugs that go into your brain and they change the way it produces dopamine so that it only happens for the normal reasons and not for drugs. You can literally alter your brain such that it won't give you dopamine even if you go on and use the drugs some more. And then your brain starts to reset itself. All right, questions. Mr. Caleb. No what of any kind? Sorry. Shh. Thank you. I called on Caleb. I can't actually hear his question. If you guys could be quiet for a minute, that'd be great. Sorry, Caleb. Go for it. Sure. Not necessarily. You still have to be presented with something that can be addictive. You could just live in a sterile environment. You could live in an addictionless place. There's no drugs around you. There's no things to get addicted to. You could still be lacking in those brain chemicals, those brain hormones. You could be strong-willed and make good decisions. You could be staring drugs in the face and be like, I want it so bad, but no. And you just say no. All of those conditions are possible. Really, when we talk about big studies like this, like what the cause is, it's statistical. It's 9 times out of 10, it's like this. There are always going to be exceptions. So yeah, it doesn't prove itself backwards. But yeah, maybe. And it would make sense too if you ever tried alcohol, if you ever tried a drug and it had no real sway on you. It didn't bring you back to it days later. You weren't like dying to try it again. It's actually quite likely that what you said is true. That you do have good, healthy relationships. That you do have people that pour love into your life and you get to pour love into their life and you guys are just close. That closeness is kind of the opposite of addiction. Because what addiction is actually just like what Charlie said earlier. Where's Charlie? Charlie said it earlier with the goldfish. He said it's like a goldfish. Now, I didn't want to lead into this too early because I knew we would talk about it for too long. But the goldfish example is actually pretty close, except it's more like a human. Addiction is when the marijuana, the alcohol, the whatever you're addicted to becomes like a person to you. Now, you wouldn't necessarily talk about it like that, but you do act that way. When you leave it alone, you feel guilty and you want to go back and spend time with them. It's like a person you're close to. In fact, addiction is very similar to being close to that thing and to no one else in your life. Or another way to put it, closer to that thing than you are to anyone else in your life. That's what addiction is most like. Our brain chemically, just like chemically treats the thing we are addicted to like a person. We have fond memories of it. We long to spend more time with it. And we feel really good when we're around it. That's addiction. Now, you can be addicted to the people in your life that love you and take care of you and are good to you, and that's okay. Like, that's actually good. That's the way you were designed by God to be, to have close-knit relationships you rely on when days are good, when days are bad, you still want to be with those people. That's what you're designed for. You're made for that. So when you swap it for an inanimate object, it creates some really bad side effects. Okay, go ahead, Charlie. Kind of like. Yeah. Oh, look, his 7-Up that went missing. Cool beans. It's like designer handbags. Yeah, there it is. All right, so one more thing before we go back to a game. Shh. Is that a raised hand? Okay, what's up? Shh, 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 shh. Shh, 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 shh. Theoretically, true, and we're going to get to that next. That's our next topic, is the non-substance addictions. Yes, Charlie? You just raise your hand and you wait. You don't go, me, I. Yes, Charlie. Oh, yeah? In both ways. The way you didn't mean and the way you do mean. Yes, you can. Sure. Yeah, that was like me and Beanie Babies at a certain age. When I was young, Beanie Babies were new. They were fresh. They were the big thing. I got addicted to collecting them. And I'd just sit there and stare at my collection, and then I'd reorder it and stare at it some more. It was bad. Sure, theoretically, if that was a thing. All right, so marijuana, to sum it up, is pretty easy to get addicted to. But really the biggest risk is that it isn't well studied, and the effects are the worst the younger you are. The young people who use marijuana have lifelong effects. And the few studies we've done on adults have found that actually using marijuana for a little while and then quitting, you may not have very many long-term effects. As an adult, the effects tend to go away quicker. But if you use as a kid, your brain is just more malleable. It's softer. It's more influenced by these chemical changes. You can end up with a permanently damaged brain pretty darn easily if you use it as a kid. One of the big things that's different for kids and adults is the ability to develop a permanent psychological condition from using marijuana. There have been numerous cases and studies on them of kids who had no history of mental illness, rapidly developing mental illness once they started smoking marijuana. And the point wasn't that marijuana gave them the mental illness, but rather that the mental illness was going to stay dormant for some amount of time, and the marijuana made it pop out right away. And so you got your mental illness quicker, and there's no guarantee you would have ever got it before, but there you go. You have it now. Judah, what's yours? Yeah. The little ones? They were the yellow ones? Yeah. Cannabinoids, I think. Oh, no, those were the normal ones. You know, because those aren't, they were triangles, circles. It's different. Nope, not how that works. Alrighty. Question for you guys. Has anyone here ever felt tempted to smoke anything? Yes. What made it feel like you would want to do that? Was it the person who was smoking? Was it like who was offering it? Or was it actually like something about smoking? Was it curiosity? Like what about it was tempting? Okay. Okay. The licorice makes sense. It just seemed fun. Yeah, I get that. There's some people too that have like an oral fixation. They're the kind that like to have a toothpick in their mouth. They like to chew gum. They like to have something going on in their mouth at all times. And so for some of them, it's like, oh yeah, it's cigarettes, perfect. No calories, just stick it in your mouth. Problem is, it destroys your lungs and it's highly addictive. So, it's not, chew a toothpick. The worst thing that'll happen is you might swallow a toothpick or get a splinter in your gums. But at least you can manage that. You can choose how you chew your toothpick. You can't smoke a cigarette in a non-cancer delivering way. Yeah, it happens. Oftentimes kids who bring drugs or cigarettes or what have you to school, they get it from home. They're not even out there like finding dealers and talking to dealers. Oftentimes in the middle school years and younger, they're getting it from parents or family members. And they shouldn't have it. It's terrible for them. Some of them could even kill them. But really, you got to be a good friend in that moment and not just try to seem cool, try not to hurt their feelings. Like a good friend in that moment is looking out for the life of that person. And their life's at risk depending on what they got in their hands. You should talk about it. You should try and confiscate it and get it to teachers. Like, you should not let them risk their life over looking cool, being like older people. Whoa. Yes, Elliot. Oh, yeah, candy cigarettes. That's funny. Yes, Jeremiah? Ah! He's talking about fire season. Going outside during fire season and breathing is kind of like smoking. Good joke. Okay, yes. The ooh just exploded out of Faith. Okay, sure. Okay. I don't know where this is going. With a comb? I love 5-year-olds. It's the best. Okay. We're done with stories for the moment. We're done with stories. Shh. I didn't mean to take stories, okay? I didn't mean to take stories. Shh. All right, so one more thing I'll say about marijuana. There are compounds in the plant that we're slowly finding out might be helpful for things. And so I don't want anyone to get the idea that even though the Bible says don't use mind-altering drugs ever at all, it does say that. Don't use mind-altering drugs ever at all. I don't want anyone to get to the idea that that means like CBD oil is somehow a sin. As far as I know, I've seen no science that says CBD oil changes your mental state. I haven't seen any confirmation of that. So as far as I know, the Bible has nothing bad to say about CBD oil, even though it comes from the same plant that hallucinogenic things come from. Okay, so the Bible is not against alcohol, but it is against drunkenness. This is how fine the line is, guys. It's about, are you able to think clearly and make godly decisions, or are you unable to think clearly? Hey, Gavin. Shh. You're talking to James while he should be listening. You should be listening for that matter. The question is, can you think clearly? And so I don't think people have to decide, oh, marijuana will kill you. Oh, no, marijuana is safe. All they have to say is it changes how you think. And I'm like, okay, well, then the Bible says it's a sin. Boom, done. Out of there. You can immediately knock it off the list. Okay? For some people, coffee gets to be that addictive. The caffeine in it becomes so addictive, they can't wait for another drink. For some, it's sugar. Can't wait to get more sugar. Can't wait to get more sugar. Can't wait to get more sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. I'm not looking at anyone in particular, but if you kept asking for a prize of candy after a certain game a little while ago, you might want to think hard about how bad you need the sugar. Okay? If you are addicted to something, it changes the way you think. You feel like you need it. Lots of things, not just drugs. Gavin? Shh. Not just, Gavin. Stop talking. Don't talk quieter. Stop. You might be addicted to it. At that point, it doesn't matter if it's illegal or legal. It just matters that God said you shouldn't do stuff like that. You shouldn't allow things into your life that take you over unless it's the Holy Spirit of God. That's it. It's the only thing that it's right to let take over your life. Yes, Elise. No, wait. Sorry, Caitlin. Hi, Elise. What's up, Caitlin? You grow thirsty. It dries your mouth out just thinking about that, huh? Yeah, totally. then I really shouldn't indulge myself.
It's like a runner's high. It's not a bad thing.
All right, Charlie, lay it on me.
All right.
Oh, you got it.
This has a lot
I'm addicted.
to do with the subject. It is technically a small story, but it's not long. It has a lot to. It's not about smoking
I
inanimate
said no
objects.
stories.
It's not about pretending to smoke
Okay.
inanimate objects.
Daniel, have a seat. Abby, there's better ways to do that.
Stop. I think I was about 10.
Okay.
Okay. I was on my way back
Okay.
and we stopped at a McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
Stop. And then I needed
4,
to restroom.
3,
I
2,
went.
1. I think you're out of time. That's it.
Went into
That's the end of that's the end of the story.
Went into the
All right.
restroom, and this
Micah, what's yours? Sorry, man. It's too long. You tried. Micah, what's your hand up for? Oh. It's supposed to be fake? What is this, a real cigarette? Get this out of here. Okay. Sure. So you were smoking tree. Oh, I get it now. Accidentally, because you were never actually breathing it until you accidentally did. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Elise, last one. Shh. Oh, golly, I hope so. I haven't missed any calls yet.
Daniel, look at this.
Yeah, not recently, anyways.
Really important, Daniel. You might cry with how important. But like good.
Okay. Did they say when they're coming? Okay. We may need to send a leader downstairs prematurely. All right, guys. It is time now to play another quick game. No stories. No jokes. Fine, Italian leather.
What do you?
I said no.
But
But I said no. Have a seat. Thank you, sir. All right, guys, if you need to stretch or get a bit of food, now's the time. Leaders, can I get you to steal as much food out of the containers as possible? Put them into temporary containers like Ziplocs and whatnot. Hey, harvest the food. We pay for it.
Hey, is it finished?
I
It's
can't
game
buy
time.
anything with 5.
Yeah, we sell taffy. It's all hard taffy. No, taffy's by the nickel. You can get 2.
how is a dog like a cigarette?
Daniel!
How is a dog
I
like?
said no.
I have a question.
That's not a question. That's the joke setup. Absolutely not a question.
Like how there
All right, guys, we need the bathroom. We need some food. Now's your chance to restrain. All right, guys, we're going to play a game of Nailed It, Failed It. This is the only safe way to have fun with the milk crate challenge is to watch other people fail at it. All right, guys, so we're going to play with the 2 squares on the ground.
What's that?
There's 2 squares on the ground made out of tape. You can go stand in one of those squares to give us your answer.
What's that?
Yeah.
Daniel, nice Air Jordans 11.
It's Not even close to what I'm wearing. All right, guys. The rules are simple. Stand in the right box. Continue on. Stand in the wrong box. You lose. If you want to win some candy, come jump in. No, thank you. Don't play with lights, Charlie. Even accidentally. The 2 boxes. All right, guys. Here we go. Do you think he's gonna nail it or fail it? What do you think? That box has nailed it. This box has failed it. Don't even tell us unless you think you know the answer by just standing in the right box. This box, no, don't get on that stage, Caden. Also, I felt you, and you shocked me statically, so I felt it like really hard as you touched me. All right, guys, here it is. Nail it, fail it. If you think he nailed it, stand in that box. You think he failed it, stand in that one. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Okay, cool. He made it! Nailed it. All right, all you failed it failed. Yep, those are real. All you who said failed it, you failed. Nope, that was failed it. Sorry, you're in the wrong box. All right, guys, next up. Hey, no sitting on the pool table, ever. You can tell, no, honestly, Elliot, you could tell leaders, if you see leaders sitting on my pool table, you tell them. Daniel said no sitting on the pool table. Oh, it crashed. That's why my remote doesn't work. It crashed. Hi, Daniel. I see you back there.
Hi.
You can't just like walk behind me forever. It makes me start to wonder. My periphery sensors go off like crazy.
Not my bad breath.
I don't know why. It's nasty.
I swear to
Now, can I tell it to you? I
Nope.
It has to do with
Nope.
the lesson.
Daniel,
though.
there's something
Hello?
on your shoe. Other shoe.
Can I ask?
Gosh darn it.
Can I ask why
Here you go.
not?
Because I can't multitask, and you're stealing all my brain cells that I need right now to make the game happen. There isn't a game happening because my brain cells aren't working fast enough, and the computer crashed. So no,
What are you doing behind
no
Daniel?
extra brain cells. What's up?
Daniel, your shoulder.
Judah!
What?
You're gonna die
Daniel.
someday,
Daniel, your shoulder.
sometime.
Daniel,
It's gonna happen.
Your shoulder, Daniel. You seem to have
Daniel,
something
your
on.
nose. Daniel, your nose.
Yeah, he knows.
Daniel, your
I
nose.
put that one there.
Get it?
Hey, Daniel, your shoulder.
You have to stop, Charlie. Go away.
Okay,
I
but
can't
there's-
do this.
There happens to be something.
Next up. All right, guys, what do you think? Nailed it, failed it? If you think he nailed it, right in that box over there. If you think he failed it, right in that box over there. Yeah, that's failure. Pre.
Well, I put the rest of my blues on you, so I'm done. I'm out.
You can't put them all on at once.
I
You can only turn them in one at a time.
Separately.
Oh, all right. Why were they all next to each other?
Daniel, there's one I was behind you for a while. So I'm
Can you
out.
grab it?
I'm out.
Good job. Okay.
Let me give this to
All right, guys. Here's the answer. Nailed it, failed it.
No, he got it too.
It's too trepidous, man. He was no, Charlie, what you doing? Stop it, Chris, stop. Dang it. All right, guys, next up. Okay, that's fine. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
He liked that
What do you guys think? Is he gonna nail it or fail it? He hasn't made it down yet. He made it up and he's doing great, but he hasn't made it down.
Just because of how funny it would be if he failed it after reading the book.
All right, guys, is it nailed it or failed it?
He failed it because there's like extra weight on one side.
Abby's like non-committal, just super non-committal. Whatever. Oh, thank you. And then I have this one. All right. Is there one on my shoulder?
And there's a bunch on your shoes.
A bunch still? I thought I got them all. Oh. Yeah, that was Abby. She just kept getting me, and I never noticed. It's really on there. Wow. Good application, Abby. That one was really on there. She didn't want to lose that one. All right, guys. The answer is...
Okay.
What? That's why books are useful for milk crate challenges. All right, guys. Next up. Which one nailed it or failed it? Hey guys, don't kick a bottle around. Can you go put it in the recycle bin? No, put it in the recycle bin. It's called kick the can, actually. All right, guys, nailed it, failed it. A lot of people think he fails it. Daniel, get off my stage. All right. Yeah, he failed it hardcore. You guys knew. You totally knew. All right, next up. Nailed it or failed it. That side's nail it. That side's fail it.
He has Vans on. Oh, what? He failed it hard time.
Yeah. What did he fail exactly?
He's wearing Vans. He already failed before he started.
Before he started. You're wearing Vans sandals. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, but he's
You're mocking your brethren.
No.
All right.
But he's full repping them. He's full on.
Does he have like the shirt and the shorts?
This is just my lazy.
All right, you guys ready? And the answer is he.
Oh, you got it.
Hardcore fail. Hardcore fail. Okay. Next up. I don't know, guys. I don't know. You don't have to walk up to the screen to determine whether he is nailing it or failing it. All right, guys. Nailed it. Failed it. The answer is... He took a long time. Just kind of dwelled up there for a while. Made his peace with the crates. It's cool, crates. We're good. We're friends. We're tight. You don't have to drop me. We're good. We're good, crates. We're good. Yeah. Took his darn time, though. All right, who's next? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh, most of you think he nailed it? I don't know.
He's wearing socks.
You keep saying that over and over.
This is true.
Is it going to become pertinent the more you say it? All right, here it is. The answer is... brutal! Oh! Absolutely brutal. All right, next up. It's got like a Zen vibe going. Meditating atop the milk crates. Meditating atop the milk crates. What do you guys think? All right, guys. By the end of this game, the Googly Eye contest is over. Be forewarned. At the end of this game, nailed it, failed it. The Googly Eye contest is over. I don't understand why you think that's useful. All right. What do you guys think? Nailed it, failed it? You're on the wrong side. You nailed it. He failed. He failed hard. Oh yeah, that must be what it is. That must be it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
He's gonna run it. All right, what do you guys think? Nail it, fail it. Nailed it, failed it. Could be. They jump right out under his feet. All right, you guys. Here's the answer.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Nailed it. Very nice. And that's it, guys. That's game. Which means, Hannah, please accept no more googly eyes. That is game. It is now time to tally it up. You can write the results on the bag. Let me know when you have those results. Everybody else, it is time to find yourselves a seat. Oh, wait, no, I take that back. We have one more thing to do. You guys ready? I want you guys to come close. Everyone come close. I'm going to sing you a song, the song of my people.
Sing me the song of your people.
You guys ready? Here we go. Here we go. It's a song of my people. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sing us the song of your
Everybody clean up.
No.
Help someone around you that you don't know, that you don't know. Hey, look, right there. It's a piece of trash you could clean up. And look, over there, it's a cup, empty and sideways. All right, guys, it's time to clean up. You can pull the power cord out of that video game machine if you want, but it's time to clean up. Find some trash, put it away. We're not progressing in the evening until the trash is cleaned up. Help us out, help us out. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. We're cleaning up. Go now. Do it. Find the trash. Put it in the trash can. Go. Go. Find the trash. Put it in the trash can. Go. That might be trash. Let me see. Did anybody lose a bookmark? It's like a girl with a red thing on her. She's wearing red.
Wait, I'm a doctor.
And it says, "Praise God from whom all blessings flow." You want to lose a bookmark like that?
Nah, someone bought that from Walmart. That's mine.
You recognize it?
Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah. Where'd it come from?
Walmart.
My sister's store. She has a store.
I'm glad you're here to give me the look, Anna, where it's like, okay, good. That is as big a lie as I thought it was. Yes, Jeremiah. What? Oh, that's weird. Hey, Jeremiah, there's no sitting on the pool table. Thanks. It's the first thing to break, okay? It was stupid hard to fix, and it's the first thing to break is the little rubber underneath the bumpers breaks away from the wood because the glue fails. It just took a long time, okay? There's so many ways you could abuse that table, and it wouldn't bother me as much. That one bothers me. All right, guys, pick up the trash, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. Gavin, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. James, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. Faith, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. Elliot, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. Dylan, pick up the trash, pick up the trash. Thanks, Danielle, for picking up the trash. I literally see, like, James and Faith picking up trash. Or wait, sorry, James and Danielle picking up. That was like it. I don't see anybody else picking up any trash. You're not even picking up trash. Dance while you pick up trash.
I'm picking up myself.
You pick up trash. Everyone pick up trash. Pick up food, pick up trash, pick up food, pick up trash, turn off the video games, pick up trash. No. Just trash.
Keep going.
And food. You guys, seriously, standing here trying to make this into a game when it's actually just picking up trash time is a terrible excuse. It's terrible. Usually we finish the night out with dodgeball. We could always try a different game. That's trash. I'm handing it to you. Thank you. Gavin, we're not playing video games. We're picking up trash. Abby, we're picking up trash. Cool beans. Other Abby, Anna, and Aiden, and Moses, we're picking up trash. Moses, we're picking up trash. Right now, Moses. You get to keep it. Oh, the contestant whose it came from. Who lost their black googly eye container? That's fine. You can get a vacuum. They're right outside that door. Make a left-handed U-turn. Yes. About? Oh, it's in my playlist. I haven't watched it yet, like the news, so no. No, I'd like to find out when I find out. Okay. It's Judah's. Hey, Judah, where's you? You get to keep it. That's why I was trying to find Judah, because he lost his. You may want it. We'll see.
Daniel, for the first time in a long time, it's actually genuinely good news.
Oh, good.
Like,
There you go.
no.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're almost done with the pickup trash phase, which means it's now time to get yourselves back to a seat. Make sure the TV and the games are all shut off. Last part of the night before we head down and play dodgeball. You have time. What's this? Judah, did you lose your googly eye container again, like in the next 5 seconds? Would you please at least do me the honors of throwing it away? Oh, thank you, guys. I'm so glad you made it back in. La Familia is here to collect their things. It's just a thing that happened at camp, and we kept doing it.
I was at camp.
Yeah. They just wanted a competition to see who was the best. That's it. It was Abby and Caitlin. They asked. I said, okay, sure. Googly eyes are like incredibly cheap, so it wasn't a hard game. Yeah.
I don't want to.
That's hilarious.
Daniel, I don't
You're
want to go
hilarious.
down to play dodgeball.
Don't check your
So I was wondering if like two of the grown-ups could stay up here to watch some of the kids who want to stay up here.
Nah, that's not how it works, man. Sorry. We don't go downstairs just to play dodgeball. We go downstairs because that's where sign-outs are. I need all my leaders together with all the kids. It's hard to split up. If we had more leaders, then that's, you know, a different thing. We could totally do it.
You have a marijuana tree on your shirt.
Actually, no. Not even close. On every word that you said, as it turns out.
Marijuana?
Nope, it's not marijuana. Marijuanas don't grow on trees. This is not a marijuana plant.
Is that marijuana?
Everything you said was wrong.
Marijuana.
All right. Everybody find a seat. It is now time to move on to our final portion of the topic night. Everyone find a seat in the line of chairs. Everybody find a seat in the line of chairs.
Today
Yes.
we're going to be talking about bowel movement.
Yo, have a seat. Are you addicted to bowel movements? All right, guys, turn off the TV and the video games for the 4th time, Gavin. Turn it off. It wasn't you every time, but that's the 4th time I've had to say it. It was someone else one of the times. Can someone please put the 8-ball back on the pool table nicely and gently? Like, please don't harm the pool table or the 8-ball or the people. All right, guys, last portion of the night, we are talking about things you can get addicted to that aren't substances.
With
and the
social
first
media
one...
sites being used by 1/3 of the entire world, they've clearly had a major influence on society. But what about our bodies?
Hey, Gavin,
Here are 5
Micah,
crazy
and
ways
Caleb,
that
have a
social
seat.
media and the internet are affecting your brain right now. Can't log off? Surprisingly, 5 to 10% of internet users are actually unable to control how much time they spend online. Though it's a psychological addiction as opposed to a substance addiction, brain scans of these people actually show a similar impairment of regions that those with drug dependence have. Specifically, there's a clear degradation of white matter in the regions that control emotional processing, attention, and decision making. Because social media provides immediate rewards with very little effort required, your brain begins to rewire itself, making you desire these stimulations, and you begin to crave more of this neurological excitement after each interaction. Sounds a little like a drug, right? We also see a shift when looking at multitasking. You might think that those who use social media or constantly switch between work and websites are better at multitasking, but studies have found that when comparing heavy media users to others, they perform much worse during task switching tests. Increased multitasking online reduces your brain's ability to filter out interferences and can even make it harder for your brain to commit information to memory. Like when your phone buzzes in the middle of productive work. Or wait, did it even buzz? Phantom vibration syndrome is a relatively new psychological phenomenon where you think you felt your phone go off, but it didn't. In one study, 89% of test subjects said they experienced this at least once every 2 weeks. It would seem that our brains now perceive an itch as an actual vibration from our phone. As crazy as it seems, technology has begun to rewire our nervous system, and our brains are being triggered in a way they...
Hey, guys. I said it at the first video. It's still true. Try and keep the video time as a no talking time so you can actually hear what's being said. Thanks. Hey, Gavin, don't grab a pool stick. I already asked you not to. And take that seat I gave you and sit in it. Okay. Let's go back and see what that video had to say. I think. It'll let me.
With social media sites being used by 1/3 of the entire world, they've clearly had a major influence on society. But what about our bodies? Here are 5 crazy ways that social media and the internet are affecting your brain right now. Can't log off? Surprisingly, 5 to 10% of internet users are actually unable to control how much time they spend online. Though it's a psychological addiction as opposed to a substance addiction, brain scans of these people actually show a similar impairment of regions that those with drug dependence have. Specifically, there's a clear degradation of white matter in the regions that control emotional processing, attention, and decision making. Because social media provides immediate rewards with very little effort required, your brain begins to rewire itself, making you desire these stimulations, and you begin to crave more of this neurological excitement after each interaction. Sounds a little like a drug, right? We also see a shift when looking at multitasking. You might think that those who use social media or constantly switch between work and websites are better at multitasking, but studies have found that when comparing heavy media users to others, they perform much worse during task switching tests. Increased multitasking online reduces your brain's ability to filter out interferences and can even make it harder for your brain to commit information to memory. Like when your phone buzzes in the middle of productive work. Or wait, did it even buzz? Phantom vibration syndrome is a relatively new psychological phenomenon where you think you felt your phone go off, but it didn't. In one study, 89% of test subjects said they experienced this at least once every 2 weeks. It would seem that our brains now perceive an itch as an actual vibration from our phone. As crazy as it seems, technology has begun to rewire our nervous system, and our brains are being triggered in a way they never have before in history. Social media also triggers a release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. Using MRI scans, scientists found that the reward centers in people's brains are much more active when they're talking about their own views as opposed to listening to others. Not so surprising, we all love talking about ourselves, right? But it turns out that while 30 to 40% of face-to-face conversations involve communicating our own experiences, around 80% of social media communication is self-involved. The same part of your brain related to orgasms, motivation, and love are stimulated by your social media use, and even more so when you know you have an audience. Our body is physiologically rewarding us for talking about ourselves online. But it
Stop it there. All right, so it is not the only thing, but it is one of the things that currently you can be addicted to, and it's not even a substance. You don't even have to eat it. One of the other ones that happens to be prevalent right now and takes a lot of people by surprise is video games. Video games are just as addictive as social media, but in an even more self-centric way. Most video game players like to play online games with others, but that's not always an option. There's so many times when a match can't be found, a player base isn't large enough, or for whatever reason, you end up just playing a video game truly alone. Now, in both cases, whether it's video games or it's social media, what you end up with is a thing that you can do that releases the same chemicals in your brain you should be getting when you have human interaction. When you're in a room with people, when you're talking, when you're listening, when you're part of the conversation, you get dopamine. You get chemicals in your brain that are like, good job, that's what you should be doing. And doing things inside of social media, scrolling through your feed, posting stuff and seeing how many people liked it, playing video games, getting to the next level, leveling up your character, finding a new rare item, those all trigger the same chemical response in your brain as what human interaction should give you. However, there's a drawback to all of this fake human interaction. You start to train your brain on only finding enjoyment in these things you're addicted to. And it actually starts to have a negative effect on the normal things, human to human things. Stop being able to get dopamine released during a normal face-to-face conversation. Now, if you guys are here and you're supposed to be listening to me and then you turn to your friend and talk to your friend, that's not a chemical problem in your brain. Talking to your friend should give you more dopamine than just looking at normal human relationships. You should get more enjoyment from talking to the person next to you that you know, that you spend time with, that you know in your house, than you get from talking to me, raise your hand, asking your questions, and getting them answered. You having that big group conversation should not be as fun, as good, as having a private, get your friend to laugh, tell them something they didn't know, talk to them about later when they're going to come over and spend the night. Like, those should be more fun to talk about in the chemical sense. It's just true. So I totally get it. But if you're here and you're finding it hard to tune into anything, and you don't even want to talk to other people, you're like, I could all burn in a fire, I wouldn't really care. There's a good chance that you've got yourself addicted to something that isn't human. Does that make sense, Moses? If it's hard to actually become interactive with humans and find real happiness enjoying it, there's a high probability you become addicted to something else. Social media, video games, fill in the blank. Go back in time before we had this technology. You know what? It still happened. It was books. Got addicted to reading books. Now you can read books, and learning is good, and reading is good, but you can also read books and stop wanting to talk to real humans. And that is an addiction. You chemically replace human experience with the reading a book experience, or the video game playing experience, or the social media experience. One of the really sad downsides to this is that you were designed by God for the human experience. And he designed that experience always provide for you in certain ways and not fall down the cliff of dependency, where you eventually think, I'm friends with 2 people. It's not enough. I need 3 best friends. I got 3 best friends. It's not enough. I need 4 best friends. I need more. It's not that kind of addiction. It's how human relationships work. Now, popularity can work that way, and you can get addicted to popularity, just the same as all these. But video games, social media, all these things that are not good, healthy human bonds, they all fall down that cliff of dependency, where you got enough today, but that won't be enough tomorrow. You're going to need more of it tomorrow, whatever it is. You're going to need more, you're going to need more, you're going to need more. The problem with that is, if it is video games, well, today, playing for 4 hours was enough, but tomorrow I need 5 hours, and the next day I need 6 hours, and the next day I need 7 hours. Eventually, you run out of hours. You can't turn it up anymore. Once you get to 24 hours, you hit the hard limit. That's kind of my point. Everything else starts to suffer. Same with any addiction. All right. Let's quiet our voices. Let's pay some respect to those who raise their hands. Charlie. Please admit I'm risking a lot here.
Awesome. Like another problem.
Yeah.
Basically what you've been.
Yeah, addiction.
No, but I mean like this section.
Right, the non-substance addiction. Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me use an example. Skyrim.
Okay, that's an example of a video game.
Something that really pisses me off is when your best armor looks stupid.
Krista, what's your hand up for? That's okay. Work on it. The real question is this. Hey, Charlie, have a seat. The real question is this with anything in this category. A, am I getting anything positive out of it at all? So you could have a reading addiction and read terrible books. And then it's like, well, then just quit. Don't even read anymore. Like, find something better to do with your time. But you could have a reading addiction and read some good stuff too. And the problem isn't the reading, it's how much you do it and how much you think about it. Does that make sense? It becomes an idol in your life. It replaces God. Becomes the thing. I can't wait till this is over. I want to go back and read. I can't wait until they're done talking. I just want to go read. I can't wait until the other parts of my life will just fade away so I can read. If it gets to that, you need to quit for a while, take a break, because you're not thinking clearly. If it's shy of that, then just ask the adults you trust in your life to check you on it, to see, are you letting other things slip? Are you not getting school done? Are you not getting chores done? Are you not having good friendships because of your reading addiction? If you can maintain healthy life and also read a lot, then that's fine. There's nothing inherently bad about reading. You have to be careful what you read and how much. Yeah. Well, I think a good test for readers is, did you get enough sleep last night? That's a good test, because a lot of readers would have to admit, no, I was up reading. Okay, Faith. Be nice. Be nice. Oh my gosh. Okay. Aiden. You asked about jokes earlier. I said no. Still no. Shh. I called on Aiden. You guys can wait. Gavin Moses, I called on Aiden. Shh. Let Aiden talk. Go ahead, Aiden. So you're addicted to books. See, it's wise, though, if your parents say, do all these important things first, and then you can go do that thing you waste your time on. Because then you have this built-in check that I can't take it past a certain point. If you did all the good stuff first, you can't take it past that certain point where all the good stuff stops happening, right? Does that make sense? It's a wise thing as parents that we do sometimes. Yeah, Micah. No, that wasn't the main point. It's a point. I would totally back it up. But, oh, you meant his story. Oh, perhaps. Yeah, Abby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah, the approval of others, it's kind of what we saw in the cartoon. It chemically feels good. It feels good in just the normal sense to just know people like you. And it becomes very addictive. Yeah, Danielle. Oh, yeah. Well, there isn't a good reason. There's only the bad reason. The bad reason is chemically it feels good, like you just took drugs. It feels amazing. But then it stops 5 minutes later when you didn't get to post anything and no one liked the thing you posted last time, and then it's gone. And then you're alone. Well, here's a better question. Why are you posting it? When you take a really good picture and it's that good that everyone should see it, go hang it in a gallery. Go sell it, right? Otherwise, look at it and go, wow, that's a beautiful place. What was the point of the picture? Was it to get people to look at you? That's just vanity. That's selfishness. Just like if you do it with your dress. Like if you just dress yourself to be looked at. If you do it with your makeup, or you do it with the shoes you buy, or you do it with the bike you ride, or the car you buy someday, any of those things, if you buy it, you get it, you use it to be noticed, there's nothing of value in it except selfish desire. It's really what it comes down to. He loves you regardless of what brand you're wearing. He loves you regardless of how perfect you framed your selfie. None of those things affect the way he loves you. All right, Caitlin. Oh, yeah, yeah. So Emily didn't realize you guys were doing this every week still because she hasn't been here a lot. And then she got home from church and I had one on me. And she's like, you have one on you. And she realized like, oh, wow, they're still doing this. And then later she's doing laundry and she found one in her pants pocket. So someone got one inside of her pocket. Oh, okay. Well, I guess by accident is not quite as impressive. All right, so sum up. All of these things that you can become addicted to end up being bad for you purely by the fact that you're addicted to them. It doesn't even matter how good or bad they were first. You could be addicted to a really good thing and it could still harm you because you're addicted. And it starts to suck all the other parts of your life into the black hole of I have no time left. Say that again? Well, yeah, there are times where you're addicted to a bad thing and then it's just bad by itself and you're doing it more and you're addicted to it. That's just like 3 kinds of bad. So I would say social media has some real big downfalls. Studies have shown that if you use social media in your teenage years, you are at higher risk of depression. That if you use social media in your younger years, you are at higher risk of suicide. Yeah, that social media is linked with higher rates of depression and suicide in teens. Yeah, Jeremiah. Okay. If you're using social media in a healthy way, I would say It's a lot like writing an open letter to a magazine. It's a lot like getting a job at a newspaper where you get to report the truth of God. It's a lot like getting to find people who are smashed on their addiction, totally at their worst, and they don't even realize it. They're in total denial, and you just walk by and show them love when they didn't even realize they needed it. It doesn't look like there's no amount of this that's healthy. I don't care how much you do it. It just doesn't get healthy at any point, no matter how long you do this for. It just gets less and less healthy the longer you do it. Likewise, my least favorite thing you could do on social media, and this is just personal, I don't think this is medically backed up or anything, is this. That's just me. It's a personal vice. Maybe you identify with that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. There's lots of pitfalls in social media, and there's so many of them that you would literally have to open up your social media app of choice and immediately start posting something that is loving towards other people and then shut it down. Because there's so many different ways it can grab you, it's almost not worth it to open it. It is more addictive more easily than almost anything else, purely by the fact of how benign and safe it looks, how undangerous it appears. That makes it more dangerous. If they sold heroin on the toy aisle at, I guess Toys R Us is closed now. How does it work? Walmart. Oh yeah, they're gonna open it back up. That's right. I haven't seen it open yet, but I was gonna say we don't have any in Chico though because they bought the building. You know, it's a Hobby Lobby. Dang it. Anyways, if they sold that on the toy aisle in Walmart, it would be a big problem. It would be a big problem. But the bigger problem ends up being whether or not we recognize and help the people around us with their addictions, whether we recognize and get help for our addictions. If we continue in denial, we stay addicted, they stay addicted, everything gets worse. And so what people really need, what you really need, if you're addicted to video games, if you're addicted to social media, if you're addicted to a substance or books or whatever it is, what you really, really need as the answer to your addiction is a close bond with God and with the people that love you. That's it. That can conquer addiction. Close bond with God and the people that love you. So if that's you and you're addicted, you now know what you need. Start seeking it. Part of that is going to have to be talking about what you're addicted to with the people that love you. Part of helping others with their addictions as you see people around you that are addicted is to tell them, I think you're addicted to the thing that you're addicted to. I think you're addicted to it. I would like to help you with that. And just offer them no strings attached, no intervention required, no ultimatums. I will come sit with you and talk with you whenever you need me to. No matter what. Just put that out there for them. And the next time they feel lonely enough to grab their addiction, they'll really think about it. They'll really think about, well, maybe I'll try them. Maybe they really will come help. That's one of the most helpful things you can do for someone who's addicted. The other one is just introduce them to Jesus Christ. The power of the Holy Spirit is massive. And if they don't have it, that's going to be a game changer. When they get it, that's going to be a game changer. All right, Caleb and Jeremiah, then we go downstairs. We get on out of here. We're going to play dodgeball downstairs. Caleb, go for it. Yeah, it leads to depression for a lot of youth. Oh, yeah. Judah, hands off. Sorry, what were you going to say, Caleb? You learned that a long time ago? Yes. Okay. Hey, boys, don't both leave at once. If you got to use the restroom, one at a time. No, I didn't say leave. I told you what was next. He's talking. Sorry, Caleb. Yeah. Well, Gavin, if you're jumping into the conversation right now and you haven't heard anything that came before, do you understand what means what sinful means? Like what makes anything a sin? great answer. That is perfect answer. So here's my question, Gavin. How many hours a day does God say you should play video games for? So, no. Follow my logic here, Gavin. He doesn't say you shall play for 0 hours. He just never says you should. He never says enjoy yourself, unwind at the end of the day, just shoot some stuff or build some stuff or race some stuff. He never says that. Like when we pick up a video game, it's really for one of two reasons. Either we're trying to fellowship with someone who's right there with us in the room, or we're just selfishly doing what we want for ourselves. That's kind of it. Either we're fellowshipping or we're being selfish. So if you can plug it into the fellowship category legitimately, go for it. If you can't, might want to quit. Jeremiah. For what purpose would it be sold there? Yes, it would be. It absolutely. Arts and crafts. I don't know enough about the symptoms of heroin to make a joke about that. I'm sure there's one there, but I don't have it. Okay, I think we are done. If you guys have more questions about addiction, about drugs, about social media, about video games, about any of this stuff, feel free to come grab me during dodgeball. Don't leave. Don't leave. I didn't say leave. I didn't say get up. I didn't say leave your chairs. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Also, don't eat plastic. It'll hurt you. Yes, thank you. All right. Yes, Micah. You can. The question is it a person who's healthy to spend that much time with and that much attention on and that much love on, or is it unhealthy? And at that point, you'll have your answer of whether you should tone it down, scale it back, or quit. Or is it just healthy and you just really love them? So I would say talk to your parents about how they feel about each other and the differences between their relationship, which is healthy. Oh, I know. I'm just saying for more info because we got to quit. Ask them how they feel about each other and how that's healthy and therefore kind of not an addiction in essence because they've put God first anyways. Usually addictions lead you to an unhealthy place by putting the thing in front of God. Even a good thing, if put in front of God, becomes a bad thing. That's really the best line at the end of the day is like, did you put it in front of God? That's what it comes down to. So like, I think a marriage relationship that's really close and really healthy is amazing as long as God stays in first place. That's as close as you could really be to someone. As soon as God loses first place, even a marriage can become unhealthy. So you have to be careful. All right, guys, time to wrap up. Can I get the winners list for the Googly Eye contest? And Elise, can you grab the prize bags? There's 2 Amazon packages I've put the prizes back into. There's a white one and a brown one. All right, we have some ties. So there are several people tied up, and so we don't have a 12th place. We don't have an 11th place. We don't have a 10th place. So prize-wise, it's easy because everything up till 4th place is the same prize. So this is, if you could hand them out, this is everything from 12th to 5th. And then those ones are different, each place. 4th is different, 3rd is different, 2nd is different, 1st is different. Okay, come on up if you hear your name. You did not win. Sorry to say. Haley, come on up and get your prize. Judah, come on up and get your prize. Come on up, Haley. Come get your prize for not winning. You participated, you get a prize anyways. No. And then next up, 8th place, we have Micah, Krista, and Moses. Come get your prize. In 7th place, Danielle. In 6th place, Kaden. In 5th place, Daniel. No, that. Wait, what? Oh, there should be. Oh, I miscounted. Yeah. Okay. There should be 5 in here, or did we just count 1 too few bags? Did I really do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's terrifying. Yeah, Jeremiah, I gave you like either the wrong number of bags or one of your bags got like taken out of your pile. Oh, I meant to give you 8. Oh, darn it. Okay, let's take up a donation. Everyone give a little handful of googly eyes from yours to Daniel. Yeah. These are pretty grand, but it's possible. Hannah's going to do grander? Okay. Oh, you have prizes? Caitlin's on this, man. Hey, Daniel, come here. Come here. She's got a prize for you. Come take your selection from these amazing prizes. Come here, Daniel. Come on up. Maybe that's what the rest of these are. Take your pick there, Daniel. Okay. In 4th place, with our first super duper prize, Charlie. Here you go, Charlie, with a 2.5-inch googly eye. You have won 4th place. All right, 3rd place, Aiden. Come on down. Aiden, here you go. There you go. In 2nd place, with 19 of her 30 googly eyes successfully snuck, Caitlin. Here you go, Caitlin, with a pair of giant googly eyes for you. And in 1st place, with 27 of 30 googly eyes successfully snuck. Hey, Gavin,
Give me a drum roll, please.
You guys can do a drum roll. Winning not only the 2021 Googly Eye Champion certificate, but also a pair of 8-inch googly eyes, Abby Lang. Well done, Abby. Well done. All right, we're going to pray and head downstairs. Everyone close your eyes, close your mouths. We can all talk about our lovely prizes in a bit. Let's pray. Shh. You guys can ask her to train you later. Shh. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for the wisdom you've given us in your word, that we can not only look to science, but we can see how your Spirit has led us and how your words continue to teach us. Help us to remain strong and safe and wise when it comes to all these things that we can be addicted to. Lord, we ask that we would have those strong bonds, that closeness in our families and in our friendships and with you most of all, so that addiction does not take root in our life. Help us, Lord, if we are one of those addicted to something, to speak up. Hey, Gavin, we're in the middle of prayer. Can you stop talking, man? Thanks. Shh. Lord, if we are one of those ones, please give us courage. Give us strength to speak to the people in our lives that we should be talking to about our addictions. Whether it's our pastor, our parents, whoever it is, Lord, that we know we can trust. Help us to speak up. Give us the courage to get some help with the things we are addicted to. Give us the courage to quit, to even want to quit. Help us, Lord, to use our time wisely and not give way to these things we can become so easily addicted to. Lord, I pray for our friends at school. If we have someone in our life that is addicted to something and we know it, give us remembrance to pray for them often. And give us the words to go speak to them and share your love, your wisdom in their lives. Help us, Lord. We want to be strong in this life, so strong that we can help the people around us, but we can't do it on our own, Lord. We are naturally weak, but we have you. And so by your Spirit, we can stay strong. Help us, Lord, in that endeavor. Help us to be strong in facing the things we could be addicted to. We pray for all these things in your name, Jesus. Amen. All right, guys, it is now time to head downstairs. Don't leave any of your stuff up here. We're not coming back up. We're going to go to room 5, play some dodgeball. All right, guys, time to head down to the flat room. Let's go play some dodgeball.
These aren't massive, but they're big enough to put on like.
Then we can do eyeball dance.